These cows sure make funny noises. It's strange, I'm up here looking for indigenous funny noises. So I hear these cows and man, it's so weird. I'd like to set up a camera where I could like capture them in their natural habitat or something. I'm just afraid they'd eat it. Okay, so I'm just going to take this pull tab and bend it. Oh, trying not to break it. Okay. I'm going to set that down in here. And that should hold the wick up out of the oil. I like it when it works. I know, they're a little more than bones. Trick is just to get the coals under it. We don't really want the fire. So when I choke it down, that should help. Okay. It's getting to be nighttime. I need to focus on the rest of my food, candles. I'm so excited that we have a whole nother day here. So excited, so good. Haha. Oh, that smells so good. Oh. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Much needed. So good. Cooking on the fire like that almost smokes it. It's delicious. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm out of batteries for my lights, so it's down to the candles or the oil lamps tonight. Probably gonna quit recording for the night unless something happens. Or I just want to say hey again before I go to bed, you know. Save my batteries. We'll have a whole day's adventure, another night tomorrow, and then to get to go home. Edit all this together, and it's gonna be really cool. Oh, a little bit of a headache. Oh, my neck's bugging me a little. It's alright. Just took some ibuprofen, that'll fix it. Cold coffee. Just have a small cup. Start a fire and warm that up. It's a lot better hot. Oh, it's still pretty good cold too, though. Another day in paradise. Haha. It's so nice up here. I really like the second and third day of being on the mountain, because waking up, it just feels like this is where I'm supposed to be. There isn't some I need to be somewhere else feeling. That's good. All right. I'm gonna get dressed, fix some coffee, have a couple of boiled eggs for breakfast, and then we'll take off. I've got enough energy to go do some real exploring. Oh. Thing I like about living like this, I think one of them is how simple everything is. Always knowing what the answer is to the next thing. It's like, okay, need hot water, need fire. For fire, need wood. Don't have wood, look to the forest. It will provide. You know, not all the time is the answer easy. However, I do find that the answer seems to be there, even if it's a difficult one. persistence overcomes resistance. Aha! All right, one down. Couple more to go. Aha. Okay, with the holes bored in the plywood now, I'm going to take these stakes that I have from the fence I built over here last time I was here. So this wasn't an adventure that I actually edited and put out. But last time I was up here though, I pulled in all these rocks. I made a sled, actually 2 sleds, and drug them down from up there. And then built a pole fence that came out here while I built this one over here. It was real nice, but hanging out like that, critters came along and knocked it over. So I'm repurposing the stakes. What I'm going to do is use these stakes over here. I'm going to take this string and use it to measure the distance I need the poles to be to support the bench. So I'll put it through the hole and then get a line down to the ground, and I'll tie a knot there. That'll give me my distance. I'm going to tie a knot in the other end too to keep the string from unraveling as I use it. So that'll be my first measurement for my first stake. I'm not sure if I'll use this stake or another one. Gotta figure that out. Then cut them to distance and bang them into the ground. Looking good, ha ha ha. Not bad. Not for the moment of truth. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah. Man. I like it when it works. Oh, that's so nice. Whew. Okay. Now I'm gonna go get me a snack. Ha ha. Okay, the heat of the day has driven me out of the cabin and underneath the trees. So it's much cooler down here. There's a nice breeze. I was just getting way too hot up there. So what I figured I'd do is show you some stuff, right? And maybe make something up as I go along. The reason that like I can camp out in the middle of the woods and feel safe at night is because I kind of prepare for what I'm doing before I go to sleep. I like to have alarm systems basically, or something that'll fall over or something that makes noise in case a predator comes into my camp area. No matter where I am, I always pick a very strategic area, and the places that are vulnerable areas, I always set up an alarm system basically. So I figured I'd come down here and do just that, demonstrate an alarm system that I've been working on in my head and I haven't had the opportunity to test out in the actual wild. Haha. For this, I'm just going to use some string and some fishing line. The fishing line will be the trip line, and then the string is going to hold the actual alarm together and give it the momentum and the power that it needs to sound an alarm. Like I said, this is one that I've just been thinking up and I haven't had opportunity to play with it yet. So this will be neat. I picked this location mainly because it's a high traffic area for cows, so I can demonstrate the paths and the reasoning behind where to put the tripwire and where to put the actual alarm. The second reason is because it's in the shade with a nice little breeze. So we're going to get started. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the area. See, we've got an area here where the traffic flows through and goes out that way. And then our area here where the traffic comes in and goes up around this way here, loops back around, and then goes out the same way. So I'm gonna pick one of these trails that I think the experiment will mesh with the best. I think I like this one because it's a main trail that comes in between these big trees here. So what we'll do, I think we'll run our tripwire off of this tree here to this little tree here. And then the alarm part, I think we'll hang it off of this leaning tree. Okay, so this needs a little process work. I need to gather some sticks, figure out the little things, and then put it together. By twisting the string, I'm putting energy into the string. When it untwists, it will release the energy and spin the stick. Notice that as I'm twisting it, these little curls are coming up and forming in the line. That shows how much energy we're putting into it. Also, at the same time that the stick spins and tightens it, it raises and comes up higher because the string is getting shorter. At the same time, the weight stick at the bottom, its string is getting shorter because its string is also twisting out, pulling the weight closer to the spinning bar, meaning as it lets out, it'll keep the bottom weight higher off the ground, I believe, or it's just going to add more energy as it's lowering. One of the two. We'll find out. Haha. a lot. That'll keep it from unspinning and losing all of its energy while I figure out the next steps in how to make this a functioning alarm. I like what I have so far. This looks good. Okay, here's the completed alarm system. It's relatively basic. Took me a few minutes to work out the bugs. What I've done, I used a strong string, which was actually this stuff 4 times over. I attached it in the balance point exactly center of this long, sturdy stick. This stick here is suspending from about 1.5 inches worth of rope at this point in this stick. Now this stick is spun very tightly. This line comes down to a log that it's tied to. The log is being held up, so it's pulling down on this entire contraption. When this stick is released, the log pulling on it will cause it to unspin even faster. This stick here is basically the trigger mechanism. The string or fishing line will pull it this way, releasing. Oh, so this has to be on this side. That way it full spins 1 time before it hits the stick. So when the trigger stick is pulled this way by the fishing line, it will release and spin. Okay, so the line goes across these trees. The only way to get through here is to trip the line. So, I'm going to set the camera up over here so that you can see the whole process. This is pretty cool because I think it works. Here's our alarm trap. The line is stretched out that way. I'll play the part of the monster, the beast, the bad guy coming through here. La-di-da-da. Not suspecting a thing. Hit that. Falls. Ha 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 ha! Listen to it. Now in the middle of the night, that would be much louder. With nothing out here, it's deadly quiet. This can be heard for a good distance. All right, I think that was a success.